Hi friends, yesterday we were making a card using some real birch tree bark. Today let's try and use some pine bark instead. It's really fun to work with and it's very Christmassy as well. Let's start from the very beginning. To create a card base, I used Card Builder panel dies by Paper Discovery. I used this stripy panel together with the matching outline to create this shape, and I have also made a card base that is 2.5 by 6.5 inches out of craft cardstock. I'm applying some liquid glue around the outlines of the panel only. It's important because we are going to weave the bark around those horizontal bars later on. Then I'm going to center this panel on my card base and press it down with a large acrylic block and wait until the glue dries. As always, the tools and supplies I'm using are listed down below in the description as well as on my blog. And these are my pine bark flakes. You can peel them off the tree, it won't hurt it at all, or you can collect some from under the tree. They are very thin and semi-transparent, unlike the birch bark that we were using yesterday. That one is much thicker. I'm going to start with a larger pine bark flake that I have. I'm going to make it smaller. You can break it easily. You can tear them as much as you like. And then I'm going to weave it around the vertical stripes of the die cut. You can also use a poke tool or a spatula to lift up the strips of paper if you need that. Sometimes the flakes do break, but that's not a problem. You just take the remaining piece and weave it around the strips as well. You can add just one piece of bark or a few of them, depending on the design that you are going for. This time I have decided to fill in the entire background. So I'm just taking the pieces one by one and I'm filling in all the empty spaces. And by the way, it's not the only way to create the background with the pine flakes. I do have another tutorial on Craft World where I'm creating another type of background with the same flakes, and I'll put a link down below in the description for you. Now all the flakes are attached and they do hold on to the card just as they are, but I have decided to use some tiny drops of glue just to stick them down permanently. I'm just squeezing out some tiny drops of glue under the pine flakes at random places, and this will do the job. Now when my background is finished, I'm going to attach some die cuts on top of it. I'm using some branches from Bird and Branch die set. Basically, they are the leftovers from yesterday's project. I'm using the liquid glue here and I'm trimming down the die cuts when needed. White glues that we are using for paper are great for bonding paper and wood as well. It just takes a bit longer to dry. I'm attaching quite a lot of those branches to create a really big cluster, and then I'm going to move on to larger elements. I'm talking about the mini pine cones. I have collected these ones from the shrub pine that is growing in my garden. They are also available online, but I think it's more fun to use your own findings on your projects. To add the pine cones to the project, I'll be using the hot glue gun. This hot glue is perfect for attaching dimensional elements. I'm applying a generous amount of glue onto the pine cone, pressing it down, and the glue dries in a matter of seconds. I'm also going to add this tiny one, and this way I will use up my entire stock of pine cones. I'm going to add a sentiment as well, and this stamp as well as the matching die is from Vertical Card Builder die set, also by Paper Discovery. I'm attaching it with a strip of foam tape. I think that this card will do not only for Christmas but for winter birthdays as well. Now I have decided to add just a little bit more to my cluster, so I'll be using those pine branch die cuts and these ones from Wreath Builder die set. I'm trimming down these branches and attaching them just behind the pine cones. And that finishes my project for today. Since we have used some really dimensional elements, this card is not meant for an envelope, but you can still add it into the gift box or a gift bag, or you can hand deliver it. And this is another project that I mentioned earlier. If you haven't seen it, you can still do it now. The link is below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with the project number 5 of the Christmas series, and I hope to see you then. Bye bye!